Hello and welcome to Grody and Unprofessional. My name is Justin McMenemy, and my mission is to share both profitable and painful leadership lessons I have acquired over a 20-year career as a misfit in corporate America. In this episode, we discuss the broken state of recruiting and how AI is accelerating the problems, whether engaging in your spouse's online content should be added to the marriage vows, and how many likes and subscribes does it take to truly be happy. Michael Kainatsky, it is so good to have you on Grody and Unprofessional. I have been looking forward to this conversation for quite a while. You and I have interacted a little bit over the last year, mostly over LinkedIn, and anybody that has read your content on LinkedIn knows that you have the Grody and Unprofessional vibe. And so I'm excited to spend some time talking about corporate silliness, talking about corporate foolishness, and talking about how we should think about LinkedIn as a platform. Welcome to Grody and Unprofessional.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I can also say I've never interviewed anybody that has XKGB listed in their LinkedIn profile. So I'm not sure if we'll get there. I'm not sure if I'm going to get put on a list by having this conversation.
That's why I put it there, because it's one of those things where you can never really find out. And if you look deep enough, you will wish you hadn't. Either way,
That's
it's
right.
a win-win.
I'm thinking you're just going to take the hiding in plain sight approach to your past, maybe.
Listen, I don't hide the fact that I'm from Russia, and a lot of people seem to always be surprised as to why I don't have an accent. And I always tell them because they forced me to lose it so I could be a Manchurian candidate one day. So it just felt right to say
That's right.
that I'm ex-KGB. And people are like, that's so funny. Like ex-KGB, ex-pizza boy. They're like, those are two funny things. Well, I actually did work in a pizzeria. They're like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Wait a second. You're not lying about the pizza boy? Nope.
That's right. So I'm interested as we get started for you to share a little bit of your backstory, including your path into recruiting as well as your current role, which is helping companies think about all of the waste that is in hiring. Give us a little bit of backstory from how you started out professionally to how you get to where you are today.
Man, so I could describe my career as a series of accidents. If I look back now, and I mean this sincerely, I really don't think I've ever actually been successful at anything. Honestly, I really don't. When I say I think I'm the dumbest guy in all the right rooms, that's not me being coy. I'm actually mean it. Somebody actually said to me, if you say that kind of stuff, Michael, then people will think you're stupid. I'm like, I'm saying I'm the dumbest guy in every room, because I believe that. And so naturally, I feel like my career has been a lot of good luck. My career doesn't make any sense. I always say that I was been in sales for a long time, and then I think back and think I actually only spent 5 total years as an individual contributor in my life, after which I was in leadership. Back then, it seemed like it was forever, right? Now I think back and go, COVID is longer ago. Kobe died longer ago than I spent in actual individual contributor sales. So that means that I've been in leadership for a long time. And once you get to leadership, your perspective on everything changes. You start seeing things completely different. You start seeing hypocrisy. You start seeing all the nonsense. You start seeing all the things that just people do, but it gives you perspective. So I literally was a screw up, like job hopper, but it wasn't because I think I was bad. It's because I was always destined for recruiting. I had this problem where I could only work for someone for so long before I was like, what you're doing is stupid. And people are like, how dare you say that? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't help it.
I can't not see it. Once I've seen it,
I can't not say it. So I was fighting. And I remember the last thing that happened to me before I became a leader was a story that people to this day probably won't believe. I had a manager at ADP. This guy was such an and it's ironic because he had the same name as the guy that my people killed 2,000 years ago. By the way, that joke when I tell people, like the guy that we killed 2,000 years ago,
right.
People are like, how dare you? I'm like, I see people joking about the Holocaust. And I'm Jewish. I'm like, it's not too soon for that, but the Jesus joke is too soon. I don't know.
I was trying to think who the Russians had killed 2,000 years ago. I didn't go to the Jewish side of the equation. I was like, man, I think the Russians have only been around for
those Bolsheviks, right? Back to this guy, he was an idiot. I called him out on something, and he was so upset that he wanted to text one of my teammates. Can you believe what Michael does? But he texted me.
Oh, no.
So he basically said, "Can you believe Kainatsky?" and da 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 da, and text me. And then I reach out, respond to him and go, "Well, yeah, I can believe it because I said it." He goes, "Oh, that's not what I meant. Well, what I meant was," and he started trying to backtrack me. And I was like, "You've been gotten. Do not try to lie." So finally it gets to this point where it's like, okay, he's like, "Yes, I did it." Like a week after all of the lies, yes, I did it. I remember sitting with a senior VP and he's like, "Michael, you could do whatever you want right now. Like he was wrong. What do you want to do?" And I said, "I'm going to resign because I already have my leadership role lined up." I'm like, "And I want you to make sure he knows that I had his head and a guillotine, and I could have pushed the button, and I chose not to because his family he had two kids, wife. I'm like, his family doesn't deserve to be penalized for
Mm.
him being an idiot." I'm like, and that's leadership is when you think about who else is involved,
Yeah.
not just me being angry about him. But that was what taught me this is leadership versus management. It's when you
Yeah.
decide what's going to be best for the greater good. This is a really awesome quote. I don't know if you ever heard of a company called Barry Waymiller. Okay, CEO Bob Chapman. Simon Sinek talks about it in Eat Last, if you've ever
Yeah.
read that
Yeah.
book. And this quote is incredible. Business was doing poor, and he should have laid off 40% of the people. He said, "No, we're all going to take furloughs, all of
Right.
us, but no one is going to get laid off. So it's best that we all suffer a little so that the few don't have to suffer a lot."
Yeah.
And that is something that I just was like, that is such a smart thing because it isn't just smart as a human being, but it's
Right.
actually smarter for business. And that's where all of my principles about hiring and cost and all this stuff. So my career, how did I get into recruiting? I feel like I've always been destined to recruit,
Mm.
but because I'm such a difficult contrarian by nature, I have a problem with anything where there's a mob.
Sure.
Another great quote, Mark Twain. If you find yourself on the side of majority, step back and reflect. If I see a majority doing something, if they're all congregating over something, I'm gonna be like, I know those guys are just wrong because they're all
That's right.
together. They're all agree. They can't possibly all be right. We
Right.
got something else. BlackBerry it is.
That's right.
It's not
That's right.
Facebook. It's MySpace. It's
It's
MySpace. I'm going to
MySpace.
MySpace. Yeah, it's Friendster. We're going to Friendster. This thing ain't gonna work out. So I fell into leadership accidentally. Let me tell you another incredible story. I got fired from a company that I got hired. I did a ride along. It was an entry level sales job. A buddy of mine was like, "Dude, you come over." He stole me from a company. I went to Russia, came back, started the job. I'm on this ride along, just figuring out what they're doing before I did the sales role. When I'm on the truck, we'd have a stop, and the guy makes a racist slur towards a customer that happened to
Mm.
be in the same type of person that I am, right? One of those words happened to be Jew. And I was like, "I'm also Jewish." "Oh, no, no, that's not what I meant." Backtrack. I
Sure.
said, "Whatever. Don't worry about it." So we come back. I was helping him clean out the truck.
Mm.
Next day, I get called in. "This guy has accused you of making a racial slur."
Mm.
And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then I said, "I think he's saying this because of what he said to me." And now it's
Sure.
he said, all
Yeah.
this. They're like, "Look, you've been here 3 days. He's been with me for 2 years. I got to let you go." Boom, I get fired for this. Okay?
Sure.
Time goes by, the whole ADP thing happens, blah, blah, blah. I get a call from the guy, my manager, who goes to me, "Hey, man, there's an opportunity at this company." And I go, "Oh, cool." Guy goes, "Dude, there's a manager position in New York." I'm like, "A manager position at a company that I got fired from? What what kind of a sense of humor do you have?" He goes,
Right.
"No, man, just go and interview." And again, what's interesting too is it was a different region. He goes, "It's not the same region here. Maybe the guys don't talk. Don't worry about it. Just apply." I'm like, "Whatever." So I go and talk to the manager. He likes me. They hire me. So it's a period of like 18 months. I get fired, and now I'm the manager in the biggest location in the country, in
Wow.
Manhattan, New York City. In a
Right.
year and a half, now I'm in management. And from that point on, everything I did, I always say, I always use the Catch Me If You Can. Remember Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah. Of course.
Right? There's one scene in the movie that I'm just always reference. It's probably started because people used to call me like a Frank Abagnale because they'd be like, "Oh man, you get into all these like situations, you must be
Right.
lying, cheating, and stealing." And I was like, "Yeah, it kind of feels like that." They're on the plane at the end, and he's like, "Dude, in Louisiana, how did you pass the bar exam?"
Right.
And he looks at him and he's like, "I studied." You can screw up everything up until a point where you don't, and now you're official.
Right.
And that was my career. Everything I did prior didn't matter. I wiped it out. Now I was the New York guy who just took a location that was losing 2 million a year to 2 million positive EBITDA. Nobody cares what I did anymore. 2010, I'm in ADP, become a manager. 2014, I'm a C-level executive at a private equity-backed company.
Right.
So that's 4 years. We're not talking like 20. And then even crazier, by the 3 years later, I'm out of private equity. This position blows up because private equity doesn't end well, no matter what. And that's it. 2017, I'm out of corporate and I'm working for myself since. So my entire corporate career, what everything I just told you, to C-suite and out, was 12 years.
Wow.
And in that time, I learned so much of all of the things you shouldn't do that
Certainly.
naturally recruiting felt obvious to me because all I've seen was bad mistakes, bad hiring, bad leadership. It was easy for me to become a recruiter. And so I fell into it accidentally because when I got laid off, well, really, I fired myself from a private equity company. And the company that placed me there called me, said, hey, we're hurt. Can you come consult? They're a recruiting agency. I consulted for them for 6 months, ran into my former business partner who I had worked with previously. He started a recruiting company. I started guiding him and kind of telling him some of the good dudes don't, whatever, from business perspective. And then we went into business together, did that 5 years. Then I left, did it on my own for 2 years. And here I am now, completely out of recruiting because I've seen and just experienced so much and all of the involved people in the hiring ecosystem. I don't think hiring is broken because human resources is screwed up. I don't
Sure.
think hiring is broken because of them. They are complicit. They are part of a problem. Recruiters are part of the problem, and candidates are part of the problem.
Mm.
Everyone is complicit in all of what's happening right now. Candidates are saying, oh, this is all screwed up. I can't believe how bad the company is, how
Yeah.
disrespectful. But I've sat on every seat in the ecosystem, right? I've sat as a hiring manager. I've sat in the C-suite. I've sat as a recruiter. I've been a candidate. I know what they're all thinking. And if you ask any candidate right now, they'll tell you, oh man, I'm getting ignored. So what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm applying to 150 jobs a day. Really? All the jobs that you're qualified for? Oh no, man, I just need to apply at this point. I don't care if I'm qualified for it or not. You're clogging the system for those that are qualified.
Right.
Oh, I don't care. I just need a job. So you're being selfish. You don't care that you're screwing over people that truly should be in that role, and you're screwing the companies that may land on you by accident that really they shouldn't. Well, dude, whatever. I just need a job. Okay, so you admit you're doing what good's for you, but not good for the system. Oh, I get that, but whatever. Okay, so they're not good. Hiring managers, they're too lazy to interview 100 people when they have 100
Certainly.
applicants. So what do? They go, ah, screw it. Let's have our AI screener go and
Yep.
just pick out the best resumes. Okay, fine. So you now you know who the best resumes are. Got it. Okay, great. So out of those 100, only 15 come through. But then you find out that these 15 are people are using AI bots to apply to
Yes.
100 jobs a day and adjust their resumes in real time with AI. So now the AI screener has just picked out the AI bot that just manipulated the resume to look like what the screener wants to see.
Right.
And then you have recruiters. You want to see the biggest joke. These recruiters saying they want to get paid 25%. And then you go and see how many recruiters have jobs posted on Indeed and ZipRecruiter and LinkedIn. So what are you being paid 25% for? They're the biggest jokes because none of them know how to recruit. None of them have ever been in hiring. Most of them have never been in a sales role. They're just recruiters. It's the equivalence of you going to a restaurant and then the guy saying, this is our menu, you pay them, and then when you order, they call takeout.
Right.
And they deliver the takeout and they deliver the food to your menu. So you basically pay them to go order takeout so they can bring it to your table. That's basically recruiting today. And that's why I don't want to be a recruiter.
Is there ever a time to use a recruiter for somebody listening right now? Is there ever a
Yes.
time to use a recruiter? When is that time?
Yes. That time is when you actually want to hire really good people. But here's the problem. It's not when should you use a recruiter. It's why are you using a recruiter? Do you know how people use recruiters? They use them often. But here's how they use them. I have positions that I need to fill. I don't want to commit to any one recruiter. So I'm just going to say, hey, I need 5 recruiters. Whoever gives
Sure.
me the best candidate first, I'll hire with you. But guess what? I don't owe any money to anybody who's part of the search. I don't care what they did. I don't care about anything that goes in. I don't care about the family. I don't care about them. I'm only going to choose one candidate from one recruiter, and I only have to pay that recruiter. But I got 5 people doing work for free. How great is that?
Right.
That means when you're going to the market and those recruiters are jumping for the same candidates and
Yeah.
bouncing off the same candidates. Now the candidates are going like, these guys must be desperate. If I had two recruiters reach out, they can't fill this position
Right.
because I got two recruiters calling me for the same role. That's a little bit problematic. That's the first problem. Second problem, when you give a recruiter a situation where they're now in a race for time to get you someone before someone else does, they're no
Yeah.
longer looking for the best candidate. They're looking to submit someone before someone else puts their name on them. So
Yeah.
now all you have is basically a Hunger Game situation. That's it.
Right.
You don't have quality. So I would tell people, if you're going to use a recruiter, you do it like this. One, don't not go to people, hey, do you know a good recruiter? No one knows a good recruiter. They know a guy who recruits. Yeah, my cousin John is recruits. Yeah, you should talk to. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Everybody says I'm using a guy that somebody recommended. Why did they recommend him? Is
Yeah.
it because I've used them 50 times and the people have been here and they've all crushed quota, they've all been with me, or he's really nice as my brother-in-law? Like that's how
Right.
people usually like the whole relationship of things. Don't trust the relationships you have to refer you. Trust what success they've had with the person. Ask those questions. Hey, what have you done with them? Tell me why they're good. How long have you been using them? How many roles? That's the stuff that people don't do. So you should use a recruiter, but use a recruiter, in my opinion, one recruiter who has subject matter expertise. This is where the biggest
Yeah.
mistake is. People have a recruiter, they're like, what are you looking for? I need a janitor, a nurse, a sous chef, a babysitter for my daughter, and a sales guy. Dude, I can find you all those. Okay. The next time you go to your doctor and you say, I need a CAT scan, a colonoscopy, a dentist, I got you. You'd never allow a doctor to be like, yeah, we do all that here,
Both
right?
ends. We can take care of both ends for you.
Dude, for all intents and purposes, we'd never allow this anywhere. You go to a sushi restaurant, if they have pizza on the menu, you're going to get up and walk out, right? But when it comes to recruiting or most business services, we allow this mediocrity. And I have no idea why. I tell people I'm the best recruiter you'll ever need. They're like, why? Because I know how to do something none of them know how to do. And they'd be like, oh, really? What is it? I'd say, tell you that I don't know how to do something.
Right.
I'm not going to go and look for your engineer because I don't know about him. I'm not going to get you your executive assistants because I don't know about them. But if you want to find me someone who will get you a better salesperson faster, that guarantees that person will deliver and be with you 2 years from now, crushing it, I dare you to find someone better. Because that's one thing. I'm a samurai. I do one thing super well. And that doesn't say that I'm the best. That's actually the opposite. It's me telling you I know what I suck at. I'm not telling you what I'm
Sure.
good at. I'm telling you I know I suck at this. I don't want to do that. Can I find you an accountant? Of course. I'm a Jew. I was born to freaking deal with accountants. Of course. Everybody in my family is an accountant. I know exactly what they look like and what they should have. But most people don't. They don't do that. They want to do everything. Oh, I'll learn it. I'll figure it out later. I'll figure out the job description. Most people don't want to say no because they want the business. I don't want the business. So I just started saying no to everything and saying, you know what? I'd rather be involved in recruiting on a different level. I want to be involved on the client side to be like,
Right.
look, you don't have the vision to be able to execute how to properly hire people. Let me stand with you. You don't have to worry that it's going to be 30% of the salary because I also think that recruiters overcharge.
Mm.
This is my opinion. I don't believe recruiters are worth it. And I'll tell you why they charge a lot. The reason recruiters are expensive, in my opinion, is because they have no clue who you want or where to get them, and they know it's going to take a long time. And they're like,
Sure.
well, if I'm going to do this, it's going to take 3 or 4 months. By the time that happens, my fee is going to get smaller and smaller, and I don't know when I'm going to get another role like this, so I need to charge as much as possible. I always charge people very little, relatively speaking, but I did it in 1 week.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And that was an agreement I had. I would say, listen, if I work with you, it's going to cost you only this much, which is not a lot, 50% of what somebody would charge. But
Yeah.
here's what's going to happen. You're going to interview everyone I tell you when I tell you to interview them. There'll be no, oh, I can't get to it. My guy's on vacation for 2 weeks. No, I will bring you a person. Within 2 days, an interview is scheduled and or that is had. You're going to have no more than 3 interviews with them. At the third interview, you're
Right.
basically are offering or you are releasing them from the hook. There is none of that let's keep them warm nonsense.
The old 9 interview game.
Yeah, exactly. The desperate ones who need a job, who are applying, they'll do whatever you ask them. They'll go for 6 interviews. They'll
Yeah.
allow themselves to go through a fraternity style interview process where for this step, we're going to dump you in the woods for 24 hours with no clothes and you have to make your way back. It's like, that, I don't need that. I'm going to give you people that you want. They don't want you. I'm going to convince them why they should consider interviewing. You need to convince them why they should even come back for the second interview. These people will be top performers. They don't need a job. They're crushing somewhere else. You only have 3 spots, 3 interviews. One, me. You don't even need that one if you don't want. Then it's you, whoever else, and you either decide, yes, we're going to make an offer, or they're not a fit. And you're going to do that. And that's, to me, why it took only 1 week, 2 weeks to an offer maximum, and then whatever the time to start. So I judged everything. How fast can I get the right people in front of them and hired? Not, oh, I got to charge 30%. Like, I don't need to do it. It's greed.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing because they're learning the position and they don't know what the person looks like. So that's why everyone else is doing it that way. And so I feel like on the side of which I sit now, I'd rather do recruiting for people as part of their team on a fractional basis and just help them get the right people, onboard them, show them what to do, rather than go, here's a candidate. Do whatever you want, and hopefully you could pay me. 85% or more of every single role I worked, I never got paid on because nothing ever happened. I'm just not playing the game anymore because AI is going to destroy recruiting because most of recruiting is just sourcing. It's just, oh, look, I'm going to send 100 messages and hope 10 people reply. If 10 people reply, I'll talk to 10, I'll submit 3. Good, I just want to get paid. That's recruiting.
Yeah.
And AI can replace that already. What AI can't replace is me telling you out of those 10, I could talk to each one for 5 minutes and tell you 100% which one is the one you should hire that's going to be the best person you can get.
Right.
That a human only can do. AI can't do that because AI doesn't understand nuance. AI doesn't have experience.
Right.
AI can be programmed, but AI doesn't have a gut feeling, right?
Yeah.
AI can't look you in the eye and know how you're feeling in a moment. I can,
Right.
AI can't. That's long-winded of how I ended up in recruiting and why I hate it.
And there we go. I want to switch to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a big part of your brand. It's a big part of how you communicate with the world. Obviously, not everybody uses LinkedIn the same way. A lot of people really have no idea how to use LinkedIn. And so the question I have for you, somebody who is really a super user of it, how should a normal middle of the career person think about LinkedIn and use LinkedIn?
Well, I think the biggest problem with LinkedIn right now is that everybody talks about LinkedIn. Like, you ever seen Mission Impossible? The new ones? Okay. The entity. You actually believe in Mission Impossible that the entity is the villain, right?
Sure.
People talk about LinkedIn as the entity, like LinkedIn is the villain. Everybody says to me, man, LinkedIn is a joke. LinkedIn is a joke. I'm like, actually, no. The people with a keyboard and an opinion are the jokes. LinkedIn is just
the vehicle.
Not even a vehicle. It's just this deposit that they're saying, here, do whatever you want. And humans go, okay, let me go and see what I can do with it. And then when smart people look at the masses, they start going, no, LinkedIn is a joke. I'm like, why is LinkedIn a joke? LinkedIn isn't a joke. Tesla, when it has FSD accidents, is not the problem. The idiot who thinks that he doesn't have to drive and go to sleep is the problem. Okay? Musk's never said, sure, go to sleep, the car will get you home. I've never heard him say that. It says full self-driving. It doesn't say full self-thinking. So don't be an idiot. That's number one. Number two, everybody needs to stop calling themselves experts on LinkedIn. The experts of LinkedIn are. I don't know their names, but I can tell you who they are. They are coders that work for LinkedIn that create the algorithm. Those guys are experts because they built the algorithm to do whatever the algorithm does. They're experts. Those guys don't teach people how to build personal brands on LinkedIn. If they did, I'd say, dude, that's the course. Take that course. Because those guys built the algorithm. They know what's going to happen. Everybody else is not an expert. So I'm sick and tired of people who literally had like 3 jobs after college in a period of 17 months. And now they're like, well, no, I'm a LinkedIn guru and personal branding. Like, no, you're not. You're just a guy who, or a girl who is now pretending to be that. And since there's no verification on LinkedIn, you can call yourself an expert. You know, I posted about this the other day. I had myself as a CEO of Apple for a week on LinkedIn. Nobody ever said a word. I can make myself the CEO of Grody Unprofessional right now.
Welcome to the club.
You won't even be notified if I put that, will you?
Sure.
Nobody from Apple reached out and said, sir, with all due respect, I think we know that you're not the CEO. We have evidence to think that we might not be the CEO. We'd like you to prove and verify your claim. Okay. Like, that doesn't happen. So if that doesn't happen, how are we believing that all these people are LinkedIn experts? They're not. Don't listen. Like if you want to know what LinkedIn is, to me, it's how good are you at figuring out, again, it's a recruiting equation, who the people are that matter and getting them off of LinkedIn to a conversation as fast as possible.
Yeah.
That's LinkedIn. That's my
Yeah.
definition of LinkedIn. Somewhere during like 2020 and beyond, people came to LinkedIn to make money all of a sudden rather than
Right.
to interact and build relationships. It was like, I don't want to get people off the platform. I want people to get on the platform, follow me, engage with me, and then I need to be able to figure out a way to sell them something. That's the turning point. So today I was talking to a guy, amazing guy, Robin, former CMO of WeWork, actually IPO'd the company. He was at LinkedIn as well. He was at Matterport. I mean, the guy's background is like, you look at it, it's like absurd. And I'm talking to this guy and I'm thinking to myself, I have no idea how we ever even got connected to the point where he would even want to speak to me.
Sure.
And he's a blue badge. He's active. But if you look at his content, with all the followers he's got and the blue badge and his incredible experience, his posts get maybe 20, maybe 30, maybe 40 likes. He's got 65,000 followers though. So you always wonder, are the people we see as successful, are they the ones we're like, oh, you got 150 likes and comments? Or do we actually look deeper into who they are? And I
Hmm.
think somewhere along the lines, we started qualifying people's value of their career relative to their engagement on LinkedIn.
Yeah. And similarly, you can see executives of large companies that will post something and they get 500 likes, and it's the 500 people that are hoping to get promoted by that executive in the next 6 months, for instance.
Exactly.
You highlight some really interesting things. I mean, one, you got it right. The purpose of LinkedIn is to connect with other human beings for the purpose of seeking mentorship, for the purpose of seeking conversations. And to the point you make, that is going to happen off platform.
Yeah, let me put the light on. Hold on a sec. It's getting a little too dark for both of us. There we go.
I thought we were moving towards a date here with the lights getting dimmer and dimmer.
Well, if one of us lit a candle, it would have been great. We should have like a candle, like right here. You know?
That's right. The thing you highlight is that the purpose of LinkedIn is to make the connection so that you can move off platform, whether it be through mentorship, whether it be through relationship. Really, it isn't about creating these metrics and these follows and everything online. The other part you highlight, most of what is on LinkedIn isn't actually real. We always make the M dash jokes, like how many posts have the AI M dashes just sprinkled throughout. There's a person I know that makes a post on LinkedIn, and I'm like, that person could not type that post with that phraseology and with that spirit if they tried. That is not who that human being is. There's clearly someone writing for them. I like where you're going, which is to say, really disregard 99% of what you see. Show up for the purpose of finding what you're looking for, make that connection, and then get off the platform as quickly as you can for that purpose of making the connection. One question that
1000%.
people wrestle with, and I'm interested in your thoughts. Obviously, I know your approach you've already shared. You don't really care what others think. Is there room for professionals to show their authentic self on LinkedIn, or for just a normal person who's trying to make one or two connections across a 5-year period? Say they're an engineer, say they're an accountant, they're not in sales, they're not trying to fill a funnel. Really, do you use it in a narrow way and say, on the 2 connections I need to make, on those 2 times, I'm going to go for it? Or do you put content out there that exposes yourself or reveals yourself for a person that's maybe not using the platform very often?
This is a social network. Yeah, it's a business social network, but it's a social business network, not a business social network, right? It's still people, we're humans. LinkedIn is the most boring place in the world because every day you got some kind of a coach or a guru showing up going, the 7 things you need to do in a slide infographic to blah, blah, blah today. Then tomorrow
Right.
they post, well, here's the 8 things you need to do about this. You're like, dude, I'm not even past the 7 you just posted yesterday. Now you got another 8? If you want to be authentic, the first thing is stop hiding behind what you think people are going to think. That's authenticity. You gotta be not rude, but you gotta not care. Where are you trying to get to? What are you trying to determine? Oh, the outcome for me is, well, I want to talk to that person. Okay, if you want to talk to that person, you need this, this, and this. I met with the guy I went to lunch with Wednesday. I went to lunch. I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday. I went to lunch with this guy on LinkedIn. You look at his profile. It's okay. It's
Right.
pretty like basic, no banner, nothing. He only reached out to me because he would be commenting on my stuff all the time, and he just reached out to me like, "Dude, that's funny, man." Da, da, da. And, like it was like just complete banter, nothing. And then he's like, "Hey, I'm coming to the city. You want to get lunch?" Yeah, bro, let's do it. Absolutely. We get to lunch, and he's just telling me about his success, what he's done. Because I asked him, he didn't tell me about it. I asked him, like, what are you doing? What are you up to? He just showed me some pictures of people he knows. Like, oh yeah, here's me and Mark Cuban. Here's me with this guy Rob Diedrich, who was on Ridiculousness. Yeah, I've been working with him for
Yeah,
10
yeah.
years.
Robin Big.
He was in his wedding.
Oh wow.
You know, the guy's worth $1 billion. He goes, yeah, yeah. I met him when he was 30 million. I helped him get to 1 billion. Nonchalantly, he's talking about this. He invited me to lunch. You think that a guy like that is going to invite you to lunch unless you're authentic? And they go, that guy is not trying to sell nobody. He's
Right.
just showing up, says whatever he wants. That's how you do it. I don't care about making money here. I just want to show up and have fun. I want to meet good people. I want to support them. I don't want to show up and feel like I got to comment on your stuff every single day for reciprocity. I'll show up
Right.
when I show up. If I don't, you're not going to be mad. It doesn't matter. And what you see is you develop your network naturally to the point where you can't trace back how did we even get connected. If you
Yeah.
can't trace it, it means it was genuine. That's why LinkedIn is such a drag for people because they're showing up, they're trying to achieve something here. And if you have a goal of achieving something here, I tell people like it's okay to show up and go, I need to make money here. But please don't think it's going to happen through content. That's
Right.
not how you make money. That's how you make an impact. That's how you find people that you like. That's how you have fun. But if you want to come here and sell, please learn how to talk to people and go and start messaging people the way that you need to in order to sell. If you got something good that's valuable, make sure you find the relevant people that you need to talk to. Relevancy is more important than anything. This is the part where people talk about pitch slapping. Pitch slapping is not, oh, you don't even know me. How dare you offer me something? That's not what a pitch slap is. A pitch slap is you don't know me and you pretend to give me a compliment, or worse, you have no idea if this is relevant to me and you just spray and pray. So relevancy removes everything else. If I come to you with something that is actually relevant to you and say, here's how I help people, you are in that category. Is this worth a chat? No one's going to say, how dare you? They won't be mad because it's relevant. And that's the part people miss. And I think that a lot of people right now want to get off of LinkedIn and they're sick of it because they don't know how to actually process what's happening.
Right. Yeah. I want to switch the topic just a little bit here as we come into the back half here, both for yourself as well as people that you've talked to that are looking for new roles and are in roles that they don't fit in well. I want to switch into that mindset for a second. How do you wrestle with, both in your career as well as your mentoring and talking to others, the quit versus grit decision? When is the right time to tough it out and learn a thing versus when is the right time to say, you know what, it's time to pack up and move on? And obviously in the modern era with connectivity and with the democratization of some information, moving is a lot easier today than it was years ago. I'm just interested, do you think the pendulum has swung too far to I can just pack up and change jobs if I don't like the flavor of coffee that they offer for free or the back masseuse wasn't as good as down the street? How much quit versus how much grit should be in our head as we go through our career?
My theory on this topic is I don't think the majority of people are in careers they actually have chosen for themselves, and therefore that's why everybody's miserable.
Sure.
If you look at the way people look for jobs when they're out of college, they just like, I just need a job when they get something. They may have not taken the job they wanted. They took a job that gave them one, which means if you apply to 100 jobs out of college and you get 4 offers out of whoever responded, and then you choose, that actually means you're not choosing the job you want. You're choosing from what is presented.
Sure.
So right off the bat, that's not a choice. You're deciding on which of them, but you never chose them in the beginning. Like if I gave you 100 other ones and you could choose any one, would you choose those three? The answer is unequivocally no, which means most people, unless you're a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, an engineer, whatever, and you're doing very specific work, chances are you're in a career that you didn't choose. Like me, I got into sales. I never wanted that. Why would I want to be in sales? My father said to me, oh man, you're a group of people, blah, 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 you should get into sales. Okay, I'll get into sales. And then I'm like, I hate sales. This really sucks. Like, why am I in sales? That's one of the reasons why grit is only valuable if you're like, I love what I do. Most people don't say this. Most people go, I hate my job. Do you? Or do you hate the company? Oh, or do you hate the boss? Hmm. Or do you hate your commute? Which one is it? Oh, I never thought of it. Well, you hate it all because it's all merged. It's like
Right.
this, right? So the first thing you have to say to yourself is, do I love what I do and just not where? Do I love what I do and just not how? Do I love what I do and I don't think I make enough? But I love what I, okay, so you have to narrow it down.
Yeah.
But I think that most times when people are ready to quit, they don't like the culture, they don't like the people, they don't like something else. There's a lot of factors, and it's very difficult to nail it down. But what I would do is I would never grit it out
Okay.
because you're never going, if you're not happy, happiness won't naturally come. It's so once you get that Monday morning like scaries and you're like, oh God, I don't want to go. That's it. You're never, it's not going to improve because there's something there that is already not jiving with you. But what I would do is I would go to my boss or maybe even my boss's boss and say, look, I'd like to negotiate with you about something. I don't want to spend the next 2, 3 months quietly quitting and like disengaging and being miserable, not really doing that much. By the time you figure it out and blah, 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 3, 4 months of pay will go by. Who knows, maybe 5, maybe 6. Meanwhile, I'm just paying, you're paying me to interview and shop online. So let's just do this. I will do whatever you need me to do to transition someone else, help you out. And what you're going to do is you're going to give me 2 months of pay, and I'm telling you I'll help you with anything you need done, but I'm telling you I'm looking for another job. Why? Because I'm not happy. Here's the reasons why. And I don't want to make everybody miserable. I don't want to be miserable, and I don't want you to waste 6 months of pay. So let's call this my built-in severance that we're creating now so that I don't do it anyway. Now, we're having this conversation now, which you can choose to do because I haven't really done anything bad. I'm just saying I'm unhappy. Is you
Right.
can after this conversation, you can choose and say, "Oh, we're going to fire her for saying that, fire
Retaliate.
him for
Right.
saying that." Yeah, you can retaliate. In which case, I will then act accordingly because you're retaliating for me being honest with you, and I'm going to do what I have to do. Yeah, you'll fire me. That's fine. You'll pay me unemployment. What I'm telling you is you don't need to pay me unemployment. I will help you find and transition the next person, train them for you. You're just going to know that I'm getting paid for the next 2 months. I'm looking for another job. If I can't come in, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to say I have an interview. I'm offering you that. Or you could do it the other way, but this is why I'm offering it. I think people should have these conversations. This is the thing people need to be able to do is be comfortable having the uncomfortable conversation because they're the right thing to do. You're going to walk away with so much respect if you do that. So I don't believe you should ever grit unless you're like, I love this. This is too hard for me. Okay, get coaching, invest in training, find a way to get better. But most grit has nothing to do with ability, does it?
Okay.
It has to do with, I hate it. I can't, you can learn. I hate it, you're done. You can never
Sure.
love it if you hate it. It's just the way it is, man. Like, there's some, like my cousin hates milk. I have no clue how. I'm like, cereal, no. Cheese, he doesn't, anything milk related, he can't stand. I'm like, dude, I'll give you dulce de leche with like, no, I don't want it. No milk. And in my mind, I'm like, you are crazy. For him, no. No matter what I do, he can't love it. He finds it disgusting. Now, if he's like, I like milk, but I just like my stomach can't handle it, I'd say, there's milk, but there's like no lactate, there's a
Right.
pill. Like for me, I think I must be lactose intolerant on some level. Don't care. I don't care. Why? I will deal with the consequences because I love it so much.
Sure.
That is where you have to decide. Am I repulsed by it and hate it?
Yeah.
Or do I love it, but it has a negative effect on me?
Yeah.
That's what people need to do that exercise. And most people don't do this exercise because they are taking jobs. Look, if you apply to 100 jobs because you need a job, are you really choosing if you love that job or not, or do you need a paycheck?
No, you're choosing a paycheck.
Correct. So when you get to 3, 4, 5, 6 months later and you're like, oh, do I grit or do I find another job? You already know you hate the job because you said I need to get a paycheck. Why would you even talk about grit if you know why you're here?
Sure.
You're here because you needed to get paid. Now, if you didn't just need to get paid, then you'd be like, no, that's not the job for me. I'm not going to be happy. But when you need a job, you're like, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, you didn't read the job description. I could do it. Whatever. Yeah, sure. I could do it. That's the issue. And that's why I think candidates are probably the biggest culprits in this whole hiring ecosystem fiasco because they're doing that and they're all miserable.
Yeah. One last question. When you are interacting with people looking for jobs, like you said, you're not actively in recruiting right now, but you spend a lot of time in that space. How often is it that people just say, you know what, I'm looking for the paycheck. I'm looking for the next ladder rung. I'm looking for the next step in the process because I want to get somewhere. I want to be someone. Versus how often are you seeing people show up in the free market because of kind of the intangibles of culture and agency and autonomy? What's the split that you see typically in the free market? And then the next question is, how often are they being honest with you when they say what they're looking for?
Anyone who's unemployed and looking for their next role, all of them are like, eventually I need money, I just need a job, I'm getting ignored, I got laid off. The people who are passive, those are only the ones I will ever represent. Okay, well, why do you want to leave your company? Look, man, you reached out, I got passed up for a promotion this time, or the salary didn't go up, whatever, and I'm considering making a move. Those people, they know what they want. They won't just leave. You've compelled them to listen.
Yeah.
It struck their chord because it was accurate, because I reached out to relevance, right? Relevancy gets a response. Yeah, man, this sounds really interesting to me. I'm considering to like uproot my family and leave for this job. I will do it for that. When they're like looking for work, dude, like you could be like, no, 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 that sounds great. I love it. They don't care. So I want to help those people to become different. Like, hey, don't approach it this way because you're just doing all the same things, the wrong things that everyone is doing. Everyone is applying for jobs. Everyone is doing all the stuff. Everyone is clogging those channels with application after application. You are not going to get in this way. So I try to course correct them and show them the right way to do it. But I would never, honestly, I would never represent a candidate like that. Most recruiters will because it's easy for them. It's like I don't have to look. They're asking me for a job. This is so great. I won't. And I've helped a lot of people. I wasn't even charging them, nor was I even looking for money from the client. I just said, look, give me 10 companies you want to get in touch with, and I'll just send them messages and introduce you as a favor. Like just me doing a nice thing. And those people ended up screwing me over. So I just realized that you can't rescue a drowner if they don't understand that you're there to rescue them. Because what is the goal of a person who can't swim and his head is below water and it can't get up? I need to do anything I can to get my head above water. So when you come and try to save them, they're trying to drown you to climb on top of you. What's the first thing they tell you? Don't do that. Let go. I got you. But they can't because they're too panicked. This is the same thing with the job market. You've been out of work for 6 months. Somebody comes to help you. You're like, get their head underwater. I just need to be on top. Whatever I can do to get ahead. The survival instincts cannot be superseded by anything else. And when someone is in a survival mode, not I just want to be more successful, nothing can help them, and they don't care if they go scorched earth to be able to get that survival. And I know that, and therefore I will not help those people myself. I will show them the way, but it's not going to be me.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Michael, it's been a great conversation. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the insight into not just LinkedIn, but also the recruiting industry. I think there's a lot of people that only touch the recruiting industry once or twice in their career. And like you said, they come into it either in an emergency because they got to find a job, or they come in like, hey, I really don't like the thing I'm in. I don't really know how to navigate. So it's helpful for people to hear your approach, hear your experiences, so that when they do come into using LinkedIn or using recruiting, they can think about it in a more proper way.
I think we're approaching a part of our world right now where AI is scaring a lot of people, and I'm seeing entry-level positions are being wiped out through AI, legal, accounting, sales. Experience is going to basically save anyone who is in the market. I don't know what's going to happen for the people that are entering it right now. I think the problem is that people believe AI can replace these people, not the fact that it can.
Correct. Yes.
Right? And that's what's going to be really damaging to humanity, because AI was not really designed to be a cost savings thing. It became that. Like we transitioned to a cost saving. And I think that we're going to see a displacement that I have no idea what is going to happen, to be honest, with a displacement like that, because I don't know where people are going to go. I don't know where these jobs that people make $100,000, where they're going to go, what they're going to do.
Right. Do you think the pendulum will swing back? I think there will be not all the way back, but I think there will be a pendulum swing back. And this is the analogy that comes to mind. It's not a one for one, but I remember when Elon built the Model 3 factory, and everything was going to be automation. Everything was going to be robots. And I think he tweeted, if I remember the tweet right, I underestimated the human, because he had all this automation but it didn't have intuition, and it didn't have adaptability, and it didn't have nuance to it. And I think there is this overzealousness of, yeah, I can replace every accountant, I can replace every on and on and on and on. But I think there is, right now, there's a little bit of a herd mentality to say, oh yeah, you can cut 20% of your company with AI. I can cut 25%. Oh, he can cut 25. I can cut 40%. There's some one-upsmanship, I think, in the pursuit of news and pursuit of PE ratio, candidly, that is going on. And I think we're going to see a pendulum swing back. Not that AI ever disappears, but I think we're going to look in the hindsight with a little bit of smirking and be like, we kind of overestimated what it was going to be. That doesn't mean I'm a naysayer to it. I just think, as you said, people are seeking people to connect with, not a robot to connect with. And there's going to be huge advances in what AI can do, and AI can pass these conversation tests and on and on. But at some point, the person is going to find out they were talking to a robot. And that's where the trust is going to be broken. If I'm 6 steps through a 12-step sales process and I realize that I haven't yet talked to a human and you haven't disclosed to me that I've talked to a human, that breaks trust before we've even entered into a relationship. And the entirety of sales, as you've highlighted and as we see over and over again, is based on trust. And if you disclose to me in step 1 that it's a non-human, I'm going to choose the guy that has a human. Like, it's a very nuanced thing that I don't think people are fully thinking through in this brinksmanship of how many people can I fire to get my PE ratio to infinity.
Have you ever heard of this AI tool called Bordy?
I haven't.
Boar. So you should try this thing. So what's funny about it, it actually proves to you it's your whole point. So this thing is awesome. It's an AI agent. You could talk to it. It's on WhatsApp. You ask it to call you, it talks to you. It's an Australian accent voice.
They're always Australian.
Well, yeah. The whole idea of Bordy is like it's a super connector. It's got 100,000 people that it's networking with. All the people signed up going, I want to connect to other people. But here's where it breaks down. Every single person, for the most part, that signed up is going, this thing is going to connect me to my ICP, to all the people that I want to talk to because I want something out of them.
Yeah.
So when you go, hey, Bordy, give me a list of great people, like blah, 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 whatever. It goes, here's 6 people that are really good in my network. Michael, would you like me to? Yes, please connect me to them. Okay. And then it sends out an invitation. It will email both of you, right? It has your email. It will email the both of you. Go, hey, Michael wants to meet you. You guys should connect. No one ever responds.
Sure.
No one ever goes, hey, I signed up for this Bordy thing to be connected with great people. There's a great person wanting to connect with me. Nobody responds. But every one of them, when they use Bordy, wants the person they want to talk to respond to them.
Yeah.
This is the problem with humans. We're selfish. AI is used for selfish pursuits. The reason why companies want to fire people, they don't want to be more efficient. They're like, I can replace it here and I'm just going to make a lot more money. They don't care what happens to the people. But I think it is going to swing back because you're right. I don't want to talk to an AI bot because it doesn't have gut feeling. It doesn't have intuition. It doesn't understand this. So I think we are going to see a swing back because people are going to realize we're here for people. Like we want people. We want interactions. We want one-to-one communication. I don't know if you read about this. Like people in Japan are now openly saying they're completely okay with having an AI relationship instead of a real human. And if you think about it, AI is the ultimate human. You can go to your AI, tell me I'm wonderful, treat me like I'm the best, I'm the greatest thing that's ever lived, and you love no one more than me, I'm the best looking, I'm the smartest. This is now your program. That's what it'll do. Tell me what's better than that.
Yeah.
Like you're the greatest thing in the world. So they're having relationships with fakeness. But what are we doing on LinkedIn? Fakeness, optics. Oh, I got 1,000 likes and 100,000 impressions. Everybody likes me. No, they don't. Reach out to any of them. Nobody cares. An impression is 300 milliseconds. That's an impression. That's the problem. People are chasing the wrong thing, and when they realize they were misled, it's all going to go out the window.
I think a lot of it gets also into worldview, not to take it super deep here at the end, but I do believe we were built to serve more than built to be served. And I think that hearing truth and hearing honesty and trials and tribulations and difficulties, that's where we grow. You know, if we just sat on the top of a throne and people handed us grapes and people waved palm fronds in our face and told we were amazing, those are some of the worst leaders in all of history that were never connected to reality, connected to other human beings. Those are called aristocracies. And what I think we might be creating is tiny little one-person aristocracies. It's going to spiral. I'm not saying in some like macro, like end of the world sense, but I think it's a societal diet of sugar if you're not careful. And it's the nutrients and the vitamins of real human interaction and of things not going well and issues with family that drive us to be more reflective. I'm not reflective when somebody says, Justin, you're the most amazing person and you're awesome. And yeah, I know you weigh this, but you look amazing. No, I don't. I actually need to lose some weight. That's the reality. That's where I'm going to grow. That's how I'm going to improve. And so I think, again, we've taken it from the corporate to the personal, but I think honestly what it's providing is exactly what people want, which is what fast food has done to America over the last 25 years. I think we're just now moving to social fast food. And I think we're going to have very similar outcomes in 20 years, where today we look in hindsight and we're like, yeah, turns out 100 billion hamburgers from McDonald's was not good for us as a society. We probably should have slowed down on that. I think it's possible that 10 years down the road, we look back and we go, yeah, guess what? A chatbot telling you that you're amazing at everything turned out not to be good for society.
But what about a chatbot that writes for you, makes you sound articulate, makes you sound smart, makes you sound like an expert, people chiming in and telling you how much of an expert you are and how smart you are and how wonderful. You're like, I don't actually have to be smart. And I'm actually going to get stupider because I'm relying on this thing to write for me. And I'm more and more leaning on this. So the more that I can think less, it can do more for me. And I'm being told all of these things. That's actually the truth. AI doesn't scare me. Humans building it, how they choose to use it, how they interpret what it can do and what they don't have to do anymore, that is what scares me. Everybody's scared of AI. I'm scared of idiots.
I used to make the reference, with social media. Essentially what social media does is it gives the national microphone to anyone, to the dumbest person in society. So you go back before social media, there's a guy sitting at the end of the bar in Cleveland, Ohio, drunk out of his mind, saying some rambly stuff about a certain group of people or a certain country or a certain experience. And the bartender says, Lou, go home, you're drunk. And Lou goes and stumbles into a cab and finds himself in the front yard tomorrow morning. Now, with social media, Lou pulls out his phone and says all that stuff, and he's on the NBC Nightly News tonight because societally Lou said this, and how do we react to this? And this political party's offended by this and this. I think we should just not have Lou have a national microphone. There's always been Lou. Society has always had that group. We just now have given them a platform that they can make it onto the nightly news with 2 drunk tweets.
You're 1,000% right. The drunk guy at the bar now can literally have a public voice. I don't know if I ever talked to you about this, but do you remember that post I had where I got into LinkedIn Lunatics? Basically, I removed my wife as a first connection, took a picture of her
I remember this
as
one.
a second connection, then posted and said, my wife doesn't engage my I'm disconnected.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I manufactured that to test how stupid people are. I knew I would make it to LinkedIn Lunatics. If I can manufacture something purposely to get into LinkedIn Lunatics, that's bad. That means I'm outsmarting the people that are there thinking they're smart and found someone who's an idiot. Because that's what LinkedIn Lunatics says. Look at this idiot. But the people getting into it, they're like, dude, I did it on purpose to get into LinkedIn Lunatics because it gives me reach. There's 800,000 members, and they're all saying this about me. Oh, this idiot, she should leave him. He's a stay-at-home dad. He doesn't have a job. He's like all this dumb stuff they're saying. Meanwhile, my wife's already my first connection. She sees the post. I showed it to her. I'm like, this is so funny. This is going to be, watch this. Look what happens. If we're socially able, like, can you imagine how bad it is if we're able to socially engineer the response that we're going to get from a large population of people? That is dangerous. Because if I can do it, what can a person with power do?
Yeah. And with AI, I don't even need a real Lou in Cleveland. I can manufacture what appears to be tens of thousands or millions of Lou's that are distributed across the country, all agreeing, all speaking in stereo, that gives the perception, right? It is the war of the worlds in the 21st century, where it's to say, I have firsthand account. We have these people that are on the ground and they see this happening, and you can create this hysteria. That's what
Exactly.
we've been wrestling with societally over the last decade or so. I'm not going to say any one country is or isn't leading the cause, because I think it's all countries playing the game, honestly, is my guess.
As an ex-KGB person, I'm always paranoid.
Yeah,
I
for
understand
sure.
Things like that, right?
I think where we tie it back to is whether it's a podcast or whether it's LinkedIn, what is the goal? And if your goal is human connection, if your goal is to learn from the experiences of others, to connect with others, to have real interaction, those vehicles can be beneficial. Those vehicles can allow us to know people more than just the 5-mile radius that we live in. If the goal is the gamification of it, whether it's likes, whether it's followers, you're not going to beat the AI game at the gamification of it. Michael, it's been an awesome conversation. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your insights. It's been good, man. We'll see you on the next one.
Pleasure.
For those that wish to share praise, feedback, accolades, or large sums of money, you can reach me at justin@grody.io. For those with complaints, concerns, frustrations, or accusations, or if you think Michael should change his LinkedIn profile to the CEO of Grody and Unprofessional, please send your reasoning along with a $20 check for processing to 263 Pinehurst, Chicago, Illinois. Thanks for your time. Let's do this again soon.